what up? Another episode. This is a very special episode of the Built Different podcast with one of my good friends, and you'll get to know him on this call. Thomas Waterman. Um, when I first started thinking about doing a podcast, and we were talking about it, and obviously I worked with one of his colleagues, Alex, on some branding things. I knew that he would be one of the cooler podcasts. I know it would be, his name popped in my mind. He's one of the first people I thought about doing this with, because we have some really good, authentic, like deep conversations. He's somebody that's a very caring person. Just always driven me and pushed me to just continue on this journey. So. Thomas, just want to welcome you on here, man, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. You're a hard man to pin down. You know, what I mean, you're a ghost. You're an enigma now. So appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, for you, brother, I'm in. And I give you that kick in the butt and that encouragement because I believe in you, dog. Because I know you can do it.
Yeah,
So it's been fun to watch you grow. And now you're hosting stuff. Like you're in front of the cameras on you. I love it. It's great.
yeah,
I'm a
because
fan.
because he knows how it was, man. Like how much I hated social media. How much how much I didn't like taking pictures or being in front of the camera because that's just who I am. But yeah, so I've kind of stepped, stepped out of the shadows now, and
Mm,
gotten comfortable being uncomfortable, and yeah, it's just
inspiring.
cool. It's kind of
Inspiring.
yeah, so it's a little therapeutic, you know. What I mean, I think that's what this episode is going to be. Is really therapeutic. Us having like our typical back and forth, because anytime I talk to you, you have this tendency to make people feel better and encourage people, and it's
That's great.
I don't know, just some vibes, man. So yeah, I appreciate it. Um,
Of course.
First off, like I think it's pretty funny, and it's gonna be cool to tell people, how we met, where we met. So I guess I'll kind of let you talk about that.
Okay. Ricky Alphonse dropped into my life and did not like me at first. That's what I'll say. So I was a fraternity guy. I was a partier. I drank a lot. And it got to a point where a couple years out of college, I was just totally burnt out from doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Like expecting to find a woman that I found intimacy with, expecting to find happiness in my job, expecting to find fulfillment in my life and thinking alcohol was going to be the answer every single weekend, and it wasn't. So I quit my job, I quit drinking, and I went on this new frontier of entrepreneurship and purpose and like what would happen if I fully turned toward my potential. And that led me to a co-working space in Orlando. And immediately I found out there was an accelerator for tech startups, people who wanted to create technology and scale impact in the world. So I applied for this accelerator called Starter Studio, and I got in. And on the first day, I sat down at this long table with all these strangers I didn't know, and there was one man. I could just feel his presence. I could feel him there. I could feel, and not only could I feel his presence, but I could see his
Uh,
swag. Like he had swag, people. He had style,
I'd say that.
and I
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
and also I could feel kind of a reserved nature. And I had this tendency with people like that. I just get in and I'm just like, I want to crack them open. I want to like crack the egg and see what's inside because
Yeah.
I know there's juice. And that's what I did. I walked over to him and I looked at him and he didn't know me. I didn't know him. And I said, "Hey man, like why you gotta outdress everyone here? What's up with that?" And I was doing it in a playful way, but I think Ricky took it in a very annoying, confronting way, where he was like, "Who the heck is this dude? Why is he coming up to me? He doesn't know me. Is he being serious? Is he not? Whatever it is." And I did it as an act of connection. Like I wanted to talk to you, I wanted to break you open, but you didn't like it very much. Now, luckily, and I feel like I'll let you tell the rest. Like, so you didn't like me, and then what happened?
Well, the honest truth, you were feeling some energy, but the energy, you almost got your ass knocked out on the first day. I was about to knock you out on the first. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, who the hell is this dude walking up to me? You know what I mean? I'm already kind of like trying to get my bearings. Like I'm very, I think a lot of my just trust issues. It takes me a while to trust people.
Yeah.
It takes me a while to be comfortable with people. So I sit back and I watch people, observe them, and then
Hmm.
I feel like you're cool, I'm comfortable with you. So the other thing too is just space. Like I always want my space. And this guy, I mean, first day, like I'm just sitting there trying to get comfortable, and this dude sits like right next to me, damn near on my lap. And so I'm like, what the fuck is this
It's
guy? You know what I
brotherly
mean? I'm
love,
like,
dog. It's
it's
brotherly love, man.
so yeah. I was like, man, I'm gonna have to swing on this dude on the first day of this thing. You know what I mean? Get kicked out of this cohort, but we I think later on we did lunch and I got to know him a little bit and I saw how he interacted with other people and I realized he was a genuine person and yeah, we've been cool ever since. You know what I mean? He was the one person in that group that not everybody in there was cool to be honest, but he was the person I resonated with most and we did a lot of talking and growing in that cohort because he, much like myself, was one of the only few non-technologists in there. And yeah, it was an incredible adventure. I think the most beautiful thing, like you said, is how much we've both grown from that point.
Oh my God.
Um, but yeah, it was a journey. I'm glad you survived it because you talking
Emotional
about
journey.
cracking things open. You almost got cracked open on that first day, man.
I was trying to
Sitting so
crack you
close.
open. You almost cracked me open. But it's interesting though, because once you found out my intention, your defense is lowered. You found out I was genuine, and you're like, oh, okay, like this is playful. So that's
Yeah,
fascinating.
yeah. People texting me, of course. Yeah, I
Popular
think
guy.
my issue. Yeah, uh, yeah. So I think the thing with that though was that too I wasn't used to even in school I wasn't I never really liked the frat boys and it just wasn't my scene. I mean I was the type that went to school and came home. I never did
Yeah.
the party thing. I never even went to the games. I was just like so yeah, I felt that energy too. So that's why I was like, is this dude playing games with me? Like, you know what I mean? I was like, he
Yeah.
tested me out, my manhood and stuff like that. So yeah, it was that. That was funny, kind of a
But
funny
the
way that we
truth
met.
is,
But
the last thing here, like when I reflect on it, I
mm,
approached you first because I felt most connected to you. I could have approached anyone. I could have made a joke about anyone there. I could have done anything. And I was like, this guy could, it's like deep down, I was like, this guy is going to be a brother. He's going to be a homie. So I'm going to go like dig in a little bit. And then, yeah, dude, I mean, we've cried, dude. We've been on quite the journey. I'm just so inspired by you can, not only do you never give up, but you don't just do the same thing over and over again. You're constantly challenging yourself, looking inward, expanding. Like you're built different. You know what I'm saying? Like the tagline of the whole show. You're not willing to just settle for your comfort zone and where you're at. Like you're constantly expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding, and it's cool to watch. And I realize those are actually the people I actually want to hang out with. Like the people who aren't expanding, I'm like I do my best to love them, but it's not as exciting to be around them. So
no, I appreciate that, man, and you the same as well. And I think it's funny as well because I was talking to somebody the other day from Startup Studio and sharing an update with where we're at with everything, and they were actually pretty shocked, and they, pretty much in so many words told me, "Man, I'm surprised you like." I'm like shocked out of everybody in the group. So I always joke around with people and tell them, out of everybody in that group, I was probably, if we had a yearbook, I was the least likely to succeed in that class. You know what I mean? Because everybody in there, like I said, was technology. You had help with Alyssa. Alyssa was helping you with some things, but I
hmm.
was kind of there by myself. You know what I mean? It was something where I'm sitting around people coding and creating really cool products and projects, and I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs. Like I was getting the basics of like building a business, but I wasn't building anything. I didn't even know if what I had could be built at that time. I didn't know who to reach out to or what to do. So literally sitting next to, you remember Dave,
Oh
and
yeah.
they had the travel platform. Shout out to Dave. Um, he was doing his thing every day, just coding away, and I'm just sitting there looking around. Let me go grab some more free peanuts from the
Oh,
kitchen, and
we
you know what I mean.
destroyed that snack drawer, dude. Dude,
Oh,
I
yeah, I mean,
I
you
got like
had to.
5 snacks a day, dude. 5 snacks and Chipotle. It was bad.
At
It
least,
was bad.
well, they had a beer tap in there too. At least I didn't destroy that. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Luckily, I
You
stopped
know,
drinking at that point. That would have been bad. But
you
I,
would
I, I will
have.
say, so like, I think there's spirit and form. There's spirit, like the idea, the creative potential energy that's wanting to be
Mhm.
built. It takes a powerful person to wield that spirit and to bring that spirit into form. From it's going from
Mhm.
like wave to particle. And guess what? Like you held the spirit, you held the frequency of the spirit, you brought it, and you birthed it, and you built a team who could help you bring it into the material. You built a
Yeah.
team around you who could bring it into form. So like if it's just a bunch of people who can build things, they won't have anything to build. It takes someone with spirit to bring things into form. And both are equally important parts in this story. So
Yeah. I
there.
think that's the wildest part is you were obviously one of the first people I told the idea about, and I think that's where a lot of the encouragement came to kind of push forward. You, Sky, a couple other people that because at that time I'm still feeling like, damn, I just like why me? You know what I mean? Why me? Like I'm not a technologist by trade. This is just a dream. It's a vision, and I shared that vision like a little reluctantly because I'm still feeling like, what the hell am I doing here? And but I brought it to you. You were like, dude, this is this is the shit. You know what I mean? You should push this. You should do this. Like you can, you know what I mean? Sky was very another person that was very encouraging. A lot of encouraging people in that building. But obviously you were one of the first people ever to know about the idea, and yeah, you gave me a lot of encouragement. I was like, shit, you know what I mean? This sounds like a very reasonable guy. He's a very smart guy. Like maybe I have something here. You know what I mean? And you continue to like help me think out like business models and just user scenarios and things like that. And I was just like, okay, maybe I have something I can push forward with this.
That's powerful though, Ricky. Like one thing I realized what you did is like because you normally were reserved and you're like, I gotta wait and see if I can trust people. You continued
Hmm.
to allow people to help you. You continue to allow people to brainstorm with you, to give you new perspectives, to build things, to do finances, to do marketing. Like you got Raul here helping you with the podcast. Like you continually trust people and allow them to get in on your vision. And that
Yeah.
vision could be something you could have protected so tightly and stayed in that little comfort zone, but you kept giving it up. You kept surrendering. You kept letting go. You kept giving it to more people and allowing more people in, even though it was not what you have been doing in the past. So, like, your growth is directly correlated to why there's these people who are devoted around you in this bigger vision. So it's cool, man.
Yeah, I
Do you
think
feel
I've
that?
opened myself. No, 100%. I've opened myself up a lot, and once I started opening myself up more and telling people it, a lot of people started telling me how cool the idea was and how cool, like, man, this is gonna be a game changer. This is, what I mean. So it's everything's about energy, like you said, and my energy's changed over the years, from being kind of doubting myself and the imposter syndrome, and now it's into like, why not me? You know what I mean? Why not? Why not? Why can't I do this? Like,
How many
I
times did
as we
you
said,
hurl yourself? How many times did you hurl yourself into the arena in uncertainty, in the face of
yeah,
rejection, in the face of judgment? You hurled yourself in again and again and again. And with each time you did it, I've watched, I'm a witness to your life as a dear friend. Each time you hurled
yeah,
yourself in there, you expanded, you liberated yourself a little more. You expanded your capacity for success. You could expanded your ability to lead others. You gave this vision an increased chance of actually working every single time
hmm,
you hurled yourself into initiation, like the discomfort, the fires of discomfort. And through that, we're more liberated and your leadership becoming more potent. Like that's a big deal. And I think that's why you are progressing. I think you could have just stayed in your circle, but you continue to progress because you keep hurling yourself into the fire, into the annihilation. So you can continue to be actually yourself, like be
yeah,
truthful, be expressed, be confident, all the things.
yeah. No, I appreciate that, man. So, I feel like we're doing a lot of talking about me, But I'm interested for you to share with the
This is
audience
the
what
first
you're.
episode, the story of
It
Ricky.
is.
You know,
Oh,
it's
so
great.
so what are you saying? You're gonna be on multiple episodes? You're a recurring guest? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I'm taking over. I'm the host. Let's go.
No, I wanted the audience to get to know you and know a little bit about what you're working on. Like, I feel like every time I talk to you, you have a new project going. So, just tell everybody what you're doing.
Well, it's wild because literally the path you're on, like what we just talked about, how you're continually hurling yourself into the face of rejection, fear, judgment, discomfort, um, and through that, becoming more liberated in your life, becoming more potent in your leadership because of it, that that's literally what I'm doing now. So before it was all about, with Purpose Pioneers, Alex and I were really, really focused on operations and culture, like meeting at the crossroads of high performance and human well-being in the workplace. I created an entire operating system called Movement OS, where you literally install it into your business and your team, and inevitably they're hitting goals, they're innovating, they're improving, they're building momentum, and at the same time they are in a state of well-being, they're in a beautiful state, they're getting rid of their anxiety, they're feeling present and excited in the workplace, the meetings, all that stuff. So that's still like there, but I'm just taking on like a couple clients at a time. What I'm focused on now is an organization that I've actually been developing for 2 years in the background. So I moved to Bali for 3 months in 2019, as you know, and in Bali had a very big spiritual awakening. Really fell in love with the journey of living in truth and living in love and living in full expression and living in surrendering to service and surrendering to a bigger story and not trying to control everything and manipulate everything, like a journey of letting the F go. And I really fell in love with that. And I also fell in love with a practice called kirtan, which is mantra chanting. It's basically like singing our way into the heart space so we can feel more loving and more free and more liberated. So I took this practice, kirtan, back to America, and I started doing it every single week and over and over
Yeah.
and over again, every single week, every single week. And it started with like me and a couple dudes singing in a living room, and then it grew to 35 people in a bigger living room, and then it grew to 65 people in a large yoga space. And this it just continually, I surrendered to service again and again and again, and I kept saying, no, this isn't my business, this isn't what I'm doing. But I kept doing it for free every single week for like 2 years. And now it's grown to an organization of around, like, we have about 600 members in our group, and they are all on the same path I am, which is a path of liberation through and liberating themselves through choosing to do really uncomfortable stuff, choosing to be truthful in the face of attack, be honest with someone even though they might get mad at me for it, choosing to be loving in the face of judgment or rejection, where when choosing to love someone even if I don't like their political views or I don't like how they're treating me, can I love them anyways, choosing to be fully expressed even though people might judge me or talk about me to other people. Like, do I get up and dance and do the little shakalaka, or do I hold back because I'm afraid of what someone's going to think or say? I don't even know what the
Yeah.
shakalaka is. You know what I'm saying? Like, choosing to surrender to a bigger story, a more magical story, even though there's a lot of uncertainty, like letting go of my business, like I just did, essentially. And even though there's a lot of uncertainty with that, because I'm letting go of control. So I have a large community now in my area in St. Petersburg, Florida, who is walking this path, and they're dropping into ceremony with me twice a month. So finally, I'm like, there are hundreds and hundreds of people here with me, walking with me, the path that I believe in, aligned with my values, and they keep coming back and they keep wanting more. I'm in awe of these people. I'm inspired by them, and they are asking me for more. So finally, I fully let go and surrendered to where I was being called, and that is this community. And this community is called Sacred City. And Sacred City is a community of leaders who are liberating themselves and each other and ultimately society through choosing to be in courageous, loving service, choosing to be church, like we said, truthful. in the face of attack, loving in the face of rejection, fully expressed in the face of judgment, in
Hmm.
service in the face of apathy, surrendering in the face of uncertainty. Like these difficult choices, I've realized in my life, every time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna say it, like I'm gonna tell them the truth, and I'm so uncomfortable. I'm gonna do it. Every time I do that, I feel more free, more powerful, more potent. I feel more magic in the air. I feel lighter. I feel amazing. And every time I do it, I also show other people that they can feel that way too. So that is literally what we're doing. And we do that in what, four ways. So the first thing we do every single month, we gather in monthly containers, I'll say.
Hmm.
First thing we do every month is ceremony. We drop into ceremony, we sing our faces off, we go to the heart space, and we ready ourselves to step out into our daily life and do these hard things.
Hmm.
Next thing we do is initiation. So we go out and we do the hard things. We go out and we choose to be in love and truth and expression in the face of fear. Then the third thing we do is connection. So we connect with each other and support each other, like because we're all doing these scary things, we're all uncomfortable. So we connect with
Hmm.
each other and build trust and add value and support each other in this journey. And then the last thing we do is we celebrate. So or do this celebration experience every single month, and it's quite beautiful. We're actually about to begin our membership in January of 2023. So this is me turning fully toward this. This is me owning Sacred City and surrendering to it and surrendering to the call and answering the call, and bringing this membership into this community, bringing these experiences into the community. And it all started with me just like playing on my guitar with two other people in a living room, during the pandy, so it's a it's a wild ride, and I'm glad I let my ego go enough to let some things go in my life. Like with my old company, oh, I have employees. I'm so cool. Look at me. I have employees. Like
Hmm.
my ego tried to hold on to that, Ricky, like because I wanted people to think of me as someone who has employees. That means something about me. I just gave up my home and I'm now living with my intimate partner Christina because my ego wanted to have the home. I liked how I was perceived. I liked being able to people to come over and da da da. So I let go of that because I'm in rebuild mode right now. Like
Hmm.
there's so many things where I was holding on to BS, and now I've let it go, and I feel I'm in a more expansive, powerful, potent state than I've ever been in my entire life, Ricky. I wake up jacked up. People are talking. They want what I have. It's crazy, dude. Like I feel
Hmm.
alive, and it's all because I let go enough, did enough hard things to feel liberated and surrender to higher calling. So that's what I got.
Nice, and that's a lot, man. I mean, like I told you, every time I talk to you, I feel like there's something different because I know you had told me about the experience in Bali and singing, and I know you had a good group together. I didn't know it had gotten that big, and that
Oh
that's you
yeah.
pivoted kind of over there. So that's cool, man. I mean, I'm all about doing what makes you happy, what makes you feel good, and this seems like it's makes you happy to wake up every morning doing it. So
Oh yeah.
happy for you, man.
It's the
Um,
deeper
are
expression of what I've always been doing, though. Like it's
mm,
just I'm now rooted into the individual. It's not just like business teams, is where I was kind of pigeonholing myself. It's now every
mhm.
individual on this path.
Nice. So are you still doing the I don't even know if you would call it a podcast. You were doing some content on YouTube. Did you pivot to a podcast now or?
Yeah, so we're actually about to launch our video podcast for Sacred City. I have 55 guests I'm going to interview as fast as possible, people I'm inspired by.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have you on there, Ricky, because clearly you're walking the same path, the path of liberation through courageous, loving service. So yeah, we're about to launch that. Our first episode's being recorded next week. Yeah, it's called Sacred City, and you can find it on Spotify, peeps.
Awesome, awesome. So we'll definitely circle back to that so you can near the end of the podcast and Raul do his thing. He's great at putting everything together for us. So make sure the people know where to find you and all of that. So with that being said, you know you kind of touched on what I was going to ask you about next because this is you kind of gave the reason why what gets you up every morning, which is this new cause and this calling that you have. What do you want to see the end game? What do you like perfect scenario? In doing this, where would you like to see this go? Like, what world would you like to create through this?
That's a great question, Ricky, because I feel like in this journey, I've been letting go of the ideal future
Hmm.
and stepping into the possibility of the present moment. Because I lived a lot of my life in business like, oh, I want to create this world. Now I need to do everything to manipulate. I need to manipulate everything and control everything to get that
Hmm.
one outcome. And it just felt mental, it felt hollow. It just didn't feel potent. It didn't feel alive. And I think now I continue to come back to the pull. Where am I being pulled from the inside in the present moment now, today? And then letting the story expand, realizing I'm not the director of my story. I'm a character, I'm a participant of that story. So I've really been letting
Hmm.
go of I need to craft this ideal life, and I'm more like playing my role fully in my life based on where I'm being pulled, intuitively. Where am I being called to serve? So, when I think about it, all I really want is to live a life I'm doing those hard things consistently. And slowly those hard things become easy. Um, I think that's really what I want. Like, I want to continue to liberate myself in this lifetime, and through that, be an embodied inspiration for others to do the same. And I love watching other people do the same, Ricky. Like, that's what keeps me coming back
Hmm.
to First Watch Breakfast with You, brother. I'm like,
For
what's the
sure, check.
update? I'm like, what's the update? So it's letting go, man. It's letting go of the idea of reality for me, and just allowing things to expand, divergently. I actually don't know what my life's gonna look like, and that's actually pretty fucking exciting. Like, I'm pretty excited that I don't know what my life's gonna look like. I'm pretty excited that I don't know what Sacred City is gonna look like 6 months from now, a year from now, 10 years from
Hmm.
now. I'm pretty excited because I know it's beyond what this squishy thing can think of right now. It's beyond the comprehension. It's way cooler than I could ever imagine, and that sounds like more fun to me.
Because I think you touched on a couple of things. I think, like obviously outside looking in, it's like I would think because of the way the world is in so much turmoil, and you hit on one thing, politics and how it's dividing us. You know, obviously, I think you have the freedom to not to just let it flow, and you just whatever the outcome is. But outside looking in, I would hope that what you're doing in some form or fashion allows people to stop letting politics and you know gender and you know the color of our skin divide us. That people will just be more loving. You know what I mean, and be more open to helping one another and just making the world a better place and a more because we all got to live here, but people just made it a more easier to inhabit the planet together and stuff. Fighting
Yeah.
and bickering and it's just you know
I kick a hole in the speaker full of